a professional here in South Florida. I am also joined by my lovely co-host, Renisha. Welcome back, Renisha. Thank you for coming back
Hello.
again.
Thank you for having me again.
And we are joined by our special guest, Mr. Cedric Butler. Welcome to the show. And thank you for
Thank you,
coming.
thank you. Good evening, ladies. How you guys doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Do,
Glad to be on here. Thank you.
do,
Appreciate it.
do you mind switching your camera over to maybe your right? Just a tad.
Oh,
The other way. A little more. There we go. We can see your face now.
oh,
Perfect.
okay. Perfect.
All
Oh, she
right.
just wanted to see the king. The king coming in to bless us today with some knowledge.
Yeah, we had to see his handsome
Appreciate
face,
it.
bringing some manliness to the show tonight. So,
Okay.
can can you please give us a brief introduction as to who you are and what you do?
Yes, my name is Cedric Butler. I have a company, New Era Success. We help business owners with building business credit for their business, and we also help also help individuals with personal credit as well.
Nice. So, I want to get to know you just a tad bit. I did notice that you have a
Okay.
BS in accounting. What made you go for accounting?
Yes, so I got my degree at Florida Memorial College, right here in Miami, Florida. It's out of Opelika, HBCU in full effect. So yes.
Hey.
Correct, correct. And I didn't hear the beginning part of your question because it was freezing up just a little bit.
Oh, I said, what made you go into accounting?
Oh, what made me go into accounting?
Yes.
So what made me go into accounting is I always like math. So um, I always like math. So when I got to high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to major in. And I spoke to a professor, and he was like, "Well, accounting has numbers. Once learn the principles and stuff like that." And I was like, "All right." And I wound up taking accounting in 11th grade, and the rest was history.
Nice. And how has your accounting degree helped you in your business today?
Well, as far as doing books and things of that nature, so it's helped me to have that background because as a business owner, you need to keep your books on point. So you want to do your financials every year, your bank statements every month, things of that nature. So it's helped me in that aspect. And then I also tell out to other business owners to make sure you have your books in order. Definitely needed. Definitely important.
Yes, absolutely. Anisha, do you have a question, Mr. Butler?
All right, Mr. Butler. So I have had the pleasure of working with you.
Yes, you are.
So, I love the knowledge that I've gotten. Um, and, it's a pleasure to actually be able to work with somebody who, you could be real with. You could talk to and they, point out what you need to do. That's something that we need big time in the community. Now, my question for you is, especially with this pandemic, with all of the mess that's going on, as far as your credit. Now, we have a lot of people that's opening new businesses, but their personal credit is not in line. Which credit do you think that we need to focus on if we cannot do both at the same time?
Good
So
question.
the way I would answer that question, every situation is different. So as far as people like in real estate, uh, different industries, I would say focus on your personal credit. So industries that need immediate capital, immediate cash, you will want to focus on your personal credit, being that try to get a business credit card, line of credit, loan. These banks are going to look for your they're going to look at your personal credit. They're going to take a sneak peek at that. So you want to have good personal credit. Now, if you're 2 years, well, if you're not 2 years into business, then it's usually not going to touch you. You got to find an alternative lender that will, go ahead and try to get you some money based off your personal credit. But you want to be careful with that because you don't need that reporting to your personal. You always want to deal with somebody that's going to report it to the business only and not your personal, unless you default. And people kind of make that mistake and, getting a loan from somewhere and then it reports on their personal and it's for their business. So people got to be very aware who they did with it. Just make sure you ask that question like, if you do approve me, does that report on the business side and not the personal? It's not for personal, it's for business use. So
I'm sorry, I want to jump in there. You said unless you default. So once you default, it then becomes reflected on your personal credit as well.
That is correct because you're taking ownership of the debt. But that's why they're using your social security number. So yeah, if you default, then they have a way of coming back and they may report it to your personal as well. Yes,
Anisha, you still have the
correct.
floor.
Huh?
Now, do you have any lenders that you're aware of? I know for me personally, starting my business,
Hmm.
a lot of times when you're looking for help or you're looking for a lender, the merchants companies pop up.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they're always, oh, we can give you $45,000. I'm like, for some reason, I kind of get scared because if you know my credit history, you trying to give me $50,000, $75,000. Something ain't right with that picture.
Right. So merchant cash advances, that's how they draw you in because they look at like 3 months bank statements and then they ask for a low credit score. Why? So now they can charge you more interest because most people are in desperate situations to try to get money. So if they give them the 3 months bank statements and they can give you 45,000, now they can hit you at a high interest rate and now they're taking the money out either weekly or daily. You know what I mean? So a lot of people can't really afford that hit. So yeah, it's kind of hard. Merchant cash advances, that's not a good option. Some people need it, like restaurants, because they see money daily. So most of the
Right.
restaurants will go ahead and take that option. But if you're a small business owner, that wouldn't be the option to take. I would look at more of, the other side of business credit, which a lot of people don't think about, is, building credit with different suppliers out there. So you can still get your suppliers for your business, continue to grow your business, and then pay the invoices back later. So
Okay.
instead of taking an alternative route, always trying to get a loan on line of credit, if your credit is not where it needs to be, you can do the other side and get a line of credit with like the Home Depots and Amazons of the world, where you can just get a line of credit, get your suppliers, make your money, pay the invoice back later.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that because that was one of my questions. But before I ask
Okay.
that question, we have our first comment of the evening coming from our most loyal viewer, Q. He says, "Good evening, queens and kings. Welcome back, Q. I hope you enjoy our show. Thank you for watching." Um, so my question was that people normally tell you when you're trying to establish credit to stay away from those store cards that you just mentioned. So is that a fact or is that a myth?
No, it's a fact. It's just a process on how you have to build it up. So the first thing business owners must do is be compliant across the board because they're not looking at your bank statements, they're not looking at financials, and not looking at your personal credit. They're looking more so at your structure, LLC or corporation, EIN, website, professional email, certain things. You want to look like a Fortune 500 on paper. So if you look creditable on paper, most of the time, somebody's going to lend you a line of credit. Now you got to crawl before you walk. So you just can't jump out there to Amazon, the Dell, the big boys, and ask for credit. They're gonna be like, oh no, your credit profile on your business side is blank. So there's companies, smaller companies like Uline and FedEx that'll give you credit. Then you build up some purchasing power, and then move up the chain and move up the process. So it's tier levels to building up credit on the business side. It's not nothing you can do overnight. It's a process, but the process works. So
Can you
yes.
take us a little bit through that process?
So the first thing is building, getting compliant first. The things I mentioned with the website, the EIN, things of that nature. Then it's tier level. So you got to smart with some net 30 accounts first, build up enough credit there, and then move up to like your Amazons and things of that nature. And then through my program, I can also show you where you get your first Mastercard as well for your business. So there's not many credit card companies that offer a line of credit solely off the EIN. It's like one or two out there that helps business owners with that.
So let's get into what you need to have on your personal side in order to begin to establish the business.
So as far as personal credit, if you get your personal credit scores up to like I would say nowadays like 700, it has to be like a strong profile. You can go to companies like Chase offers a business credit card that reports to Dun and Bradstreet. Amex, they report to Experian. So when you're doing business with these lenders, you want to make sure that they report to the business credit bureaus. So that entails will help build up credit for the business and not the person.
For the business and not the personal. Okay.
That's correct.
Do you
That's correct.
recommend trade lines at all?
For which side, business or personal? Because you can do you can do trade lines for both. With personal credit, if you're in the process of cleaning up your credit and then adding like some primary accounts yourself or a car loan, then I would recommend you add a trade line to boost up the score. So you can take advantage of trying to get a credit card down and do certain things. But you just can't add a bunch of trade lines to try to get a credit card or anything because the lenders are hooked onto that because they see that you're authorized use on somebody else's account. So they're looking at how many of these accounts are yours.
Mm-hmm.
So they look at that first. And then, the AUs will help. But they want to make sure you have credit established because they're like, all right, that other person is good, not you. You don't have nothing established.
Right.
So you just want to make sure. AUs are good for personal. That is very good. On the business side, you can do that. I don't. If you do it, I just recommend you just go with somebody you know, because the price is a little bit more than AUs for the personal credit. So if you deal on that side, you just want to deal with somebody you know, because if they don't post, that's a lot of cash you can be out of. So it's done on the business side too. When people trying to get funding and stuff like that, but you can do it the organic way and just build up your business that way. Or if you want to trade on it too, there's people that do it out there. Just be careful. As a business consultant, I just tell people be careful with that. Yes.
With everything, it has its up and downs.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Everything has its pros and its cons. Yes, it does.
Yes, I guess in most cases it would just basically be what you need to fit your needs basically.
That is correct. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I mean we've talked about credit and we talked about credit numerous times on the show, so we could beat credit on the head. Credit is something that I thought karma was bad. Credit, she just a whole nother level. And then I thought at one point I hated Sally Mae and Navia, but that chick credit there, boy, she's something else. Every time you think you figure her out, she's worse than the average female. That's all I have to say about Miss Credit. But listen, we gotta figure it out,
Yeah.
Because it seems like everything in life is basically based on this credit. You can't even get around for jobs, for your home, even to rent now. They use credit as a factor. Where before it was just, if you have the money, I'm letting you in my place. But now they want perfect credit score, and I'm like, okay, renter people, if we had perfect scores, we would have brought houses.
Exactly.
Facts. That's true. Yes.
So that's kind of ridiculous request. But anyhow, for me, would you say, as far as credit, would you say that it's something that we learn growing up, or is it something in our mindset that we should be doing to be building better credit, building stronger teenagers, maybe? With our kids coming out of school, what is your suggestion as far as building to make sure that our kids and our generations behind us are hip to this credit game?
No, right. So I always tell people knowledge is self. So if your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents didn't know it, then you won't know it because it was never, taught to you. The school system is not teaching it. So if you know the credit game, it's always good to, start building your kids' credit. Because you can put them as authorized users on your cards as well. So when they turn 18, they can have the 700 credit score when they come out of high school and be able to establish things as well. So, I always say, if you know it, teach somebody else. Teach somebody else the game. And have them build now, because like you just said, everything at cell phone, utility bills, everything. They ask, we need to see your credit. We need to run your credit. You can have $100,000, $1 million. Nah, we can't give it to you. We need to see how your credit looks. It's like, well, I can just pay you cash. I can pay you for the whole year. It's no big deal. But nah, they want to see, who you are, how creditable you are you paying your bills on time, what is your credit history like, so they want to see these things. So right now is the time I tell people, don't sit around just because the pandemic is going on. If you have a way, if you got a little bit of cash to get your credit right, start building it up, do it now. I took the time to say, all right, I looked at myself, analyzed myself, see what I need to fix. Looked at my business, did a self audit on my business, see what I need to grow, how to build during this time. Wasn't time to sit around Netflix and chill. It's time to continue to grow, network with people like, the queens I'm speaking with now, and keep going, keep building. This was the time because, whenever this happens again, I don't want to be in a position to be here. I want to travel somewhere and, be able to build me a little house somewhere on the coast and maybe one of these small countries, and just chill out and relax. So I'm just trying to I just tell people just keep building right now. Like network, build, get your credit right. You know what I mean? Maybe make some investments and stuff like that, if you're able to. So yeah.
Right, definitely. And so, besides the typical advice that you hear, like keeping your balances percentage or paying your bills on a certain date, what
She's freezing up.
management tips can you give us?
Can you repeat that? 'Cause you were freezing up. I don't know if that was my computer or yours.
I was freezing.
Yeah, it's
Besides the typical,
freezing.
besides the typical advice that you normally hear, which would be keeping your balances at or below 30%, or
Mhm.
paying your bills within a certain range. What advice for management or build can you give for credit?
One advice I could give if you're able to, pay use your credit cards to pay your bills and then pay the credit card back in full at the end of the month. That helps.
I say that all
That
the
builds,
time.
yeah, that can build up your score pretty quickly. Things like that. What else people could do? Um, don't overwhelm yourself with your credit. 'Cause a lot of people get in the habit of that, of doing a little bit too much at one time. I tell people the line of credit ain't going nowhere. As long as your credit score is high, they're either gonna give you more or they can keep it the same. So,
Right.
use your credit, be smart about your credit. You know what I mean? Because anything can happen at any given time. So, you just want to be able to, have those lines free and clear in case anything happens or you don't want to get caught up. You may lose your job or, your business may start to decline revenue. So you want to be able to manage your credit the best way you can.
One thing we all, well, not all of us, but most of us have on our credit would be student loans. Are there any tricks and tips for student loan forgiveness?
Yeah, we have actually our company. We have a young lady who helps people with student loans. So if like you're in a bad situation with your student loan, you can speak with her about it, and she can help you, get a better payment plan or get it out of default status and things of that nature. So yeah, I tell people if you get your student loan removed from your credit file, that's good, but you still owe it. It's federal money. You tied to that. What I'm saying? So it's either forgiven or you paid it down or you paid it at zero. So, people realize, oh, somebody removed it from my credit report. All right. They still gonna send you an invoice every month, but they gonna want their money. So, but if you're in a bad situation, there's people out there, like we have somebody on our team that really knows the student loan game and how to help people get out of default and, get, certain things happen for their student loan. Yeah.
Anissa?
And so I don't know why you ain't brought up the student loan lady because she um, I don't like her.
We have an issue?
So she got me. She got me a little bit, and it bothers me because it's a debt to income. That's how she been hurting me for a long time. Debt to income.
Right.
So it'd be like my credit ain't never been good. I ain't gonna lie.
We're gonna get
But
that
a
right.
lot of times they would tell me due to my debt to income, they were unable to give me this because I owe too much money in student loans.
Yeah.
That's their favorite line to break up with me. That's what I call it.
I like
So,
that.
I would say to viewers, educate themselves. Definitely reach out and speak to somebody about Sally, because Sally and Navi and all of them, they're not really nice people. We needed the education, and the truth and the plain talk of it. When we were 18, 19, and 20, we knew we needed that education. So they put that paper in front of us and we just signed. And I really feel like there should be a movement at this point where us young adults cannot be pushed into that, because there were other options. Because back then our credits were young and we had other options. And I feel like we were just given that paper, we were just told this is what it is, and that's what we did. And then here we are 20 years later, and you can't get that lady to leave you alone. It's like a bad boyfriend or girlfriend that just won't go away.
Right.
Be 10 years later, you see her in the mall again, like, lady, go away. But, listen, that's my job. I gotta make y'all laugh. We have to
That's right. That's right. I love it.
I mean, that's the best way to explain Sally.
Yeah.
She's a rough one.
Yeah. Because and you gotta remember too. Like when I went, the first thing they told me to do, have your mother take out the loan. Why is her mother taking out the loan for me? I'm in school. She ain't. What that got? This or that. One ain't got nothing to do with the other. So they force that upon you to have your parents take stuff out for you. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, are you crazy? Right. I was like, just put the money in my name. Hey, I'm at school, so But you're right. What it's saying is, it's alternative, because I tell kids now, listen, college ain't for everybody. So if you can pick up the trade, that'll be your best option. Pick up the trade, pay a couple thousand to pick up a trade, counting, cutting hair, doing hair, taxes. These things ain't going nowhere. So if you can learn that game, insurance, you can learn stuff like that, do it. Because school is not for everybody. I see people go, I went to school 4 years, so I was trying to get out. 4 years, I was done. And I see people hang out there just to be hanging, just to be out there. Because it was just, I'm on a college campus, women, nobody can't tell me what to do, Some people just go to school just for that. Party, because it's parties every weekend. It's something to do every weekend. Right. But it's not for everybody. So I tell kids, listen, get your little diploma, whatever, your GED, go pick up a trade. And that's it. You know what I mean? Instead of coming out of school with, 4 years, 50,000, 100,000, depending on what you take up, all this debt, then you can't find a job. Now you're even going to be more mad. It took me a minute to get a job when I got out. Everybody, you got no experience. Yeah, I just got out of college. Of course I got no experience.
Exactly.
Really? You know what I mean? So everywhere, and I was all the big accounting firms, Ernest & Young, Price Waterhouse Cooper. I started from the bottom, just get me in the door. No experience. Every letter I get back, no experience. I'm like, you know what? I ain't gonna never pay this debt back. So I tell kids now, listen, don't want to go to school, and just pick up a trade, something that could carry you on for the rest of your life. Because there's a lot of things that trade schools that you could do that's make you good money still.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and then you'll be able to work for yourself. You be your own boss.
Yeah.
Shit is key nowadays. Like, all this reporting to people. I worked in court space for 18 years. So I know how it is, got to look at your supervisor crazy because you're trying to take a day off. And okay. This is why I build up PTO, to take a day off. I don't need to see your reaction when I hand a request in. Like, so now it's like when you work for yourself, you just talk to your shoulders. You taking a day off today? Yeah. All right, cool. Good. And you keep it moving. You know what I mean? So.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta talk to nobody. Talk to yourself.
It's so true. And half of the things that you sit there and go to 4-year institutions for, you can get certifications for and have the same qualifications as someone who took that extra time and money. But then it's still a damn if you do and damn if you don't, because you're looked down upon if you don't have that prestigious name behind you.
Very true, but then again, that's why I piggyback off being an entrepreneur. You could go trade school and then you could learn from somebody and build your own business up. You know what I
Right,
mean?
but
So
let's not even put it out there that there's not a stigma even with job field jobs. Like
you're right. You're right. You're
they,
hundred
some
percent
people
right.
still don't want to work with you. You're still if you're a rookie. So what would you say? What advice would you give to get over that hump?
You just got to keep. Listen, I took a lot of no's when I started building up my business. Don't get it wrong. Like when I learned business credit, I took a lot of no's. I spoke to these last 4 years. I probably spoke to thousands of people. Thousands. I didn't have many sign up when I first started. I was getting the hits. People weren't either ready or they was just, a little skeptical. You gotta see your Facebook because gotta remember anything in finance, credit, is trust. Gotta trust you. You know what I mean? But once you build up, you get that first client, get them right, get that second client, and you start picking up some traction. Because I did door-to-door sales, so a no don't bother me. I've been told a lot of no in my life, so that doesn't bother me. It may bother these kids now because some kids ain't built like that. But I just tell you children, listen, a no means another opportunity somewhere else. So keep going. Because you're going to get the yes, and you're going to get another yes, and then it's just gonna flow. You know what I mean? So it's like, you just got to keep going. Because you got to weather the storm. Weather the storm and keep going.
I
You know what I
think
mean?
we're saying the same
Don't
thing.
give up. Trust.
Yeah.
Trust. It's not easy. Like they say, if entrepreneurship was easy, we'd all be doing it. Some people are comfortable just going to a 9 to 5, getting that check, going to work, get the check, and they good. They pay their bills, whatever. But then again, get older, you don't have no job, now you gotta rely on, pension and whatever else, which is pennies. It's not really a lot. Housing market is only increasing. It ain't like we live in the $800 rent, and rent now in decent areas $1,400, $1,500, $2,000, depending on where you living. So it's just it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's 2,000.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's factors to it. So yeah. I listen. And I tell people this all day. If I had to do it over, I probably wouldn't go to school. If I know what I knew now, I wouldn't have went 4 years. I wouldn't have went.
Same here.
I would have picked up a trade. And people say, I'm not. I said, listen, going to school is a personal thing. That wasn't for nobody else. That definitely wasn't for corporate America. I didn't go to school for that. I went to school because I just wanted to go and experience college. Period. You know what I mean? But like I said, you hear, you need a degree to get certain jobs and this, and the other. We all know that's false nowadays because there's a lot of people who work at places that don't know nothing. They CFOs and CEOs and COOs of companies. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, so it's who you know. It's not what you know. It's who you know. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it's life. Things happen. Things come easy for some. Things come hard for the other. But I'd rather struggle for it so I can say, I did that on my own. And I have to rely on it. So, everybody's situation is different. So, but I will say, if I knew what I knew now, I wouldn't have did it before. I definitely would have did it before. I definitely try to be my own boss early. Especially learning credit.
Especially learning credit, right?
Especially when I knew the credit game like I do now. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You mentioned that one of your goals was creating generational wealth. How do you contribute that, and what advice would you give others to start generating wealth? Do you think that they should cut corners like going to school early? You think that would give them a head start?
Learn credit early. Make sure you have good credit early. This is going to help you in the long run. So when you need funding, because if you ain't got good credit, you can't get funding. Everything we do, we need capital. That's number one. Everything you do, you're going to need some form of money. So if you don't have it saved, and you got good credit, and you got some income showing at the bank, and I can pay this loan back, get the credit right. Learn the credit game. Credit will help you in the long run. Opportunities. You need other streams of income. You can't rely on one stream of income. Gotta have a couple. You know what I mean? So that helps making investments. Learn about insurance. People put their kids through their insurance policies. Other coaches put their kids through insurance policies. It's ways to do that early. You know what I mean? So those certain things we gotta learn. Go to the right people and start now. There's people out there that know it and can teach you it and put these policies in place. So when your kid get 18 and they got a nice trust fund or insurance policy, that's an asset that they can use to go to school, to buy a house. You know what I mean? Certain things. So we just got to learn the game. We so far behind because we're not learning the right categories to like build. These categories, taxes, know what to write off. You know what I mean? All these different things we need to know. The finance game is, if you know it, it can definitely help you and build. It definitely can help you. So we got to take advantage of these things.
So give us a little
Tidbit on.
Elaborate. You said a lot of great
Yeah,
things.
no, I'm saying this because me being talking to people over the years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I tell others to implement that. Speak to the professional. When you start off as an entrepreneur, you're everything. You're your social media manager, you're your tax expert, you all these things, because you don't have the money to be paying out nobody. But as the money start coming in, you got to prioritize that list. Make sure your books are in order. So get that specialist that can help you with that. Learn about insurance. Get an insurance person. Your own policy, kids' policy. Find these different experts. And then, you don't got to do all at once. Slowly.
Steps.
Exactly. Levels. As a business owner, there's levels to it. Start off small, and you can just continue to grow. Steps. And that's all. So I tell you, because I talk to so many different people in so many industries, it's a lot. And then when you do your own research, you see what's out there. Like, how people write off so much for their business. They got to pay a little bit of taxes at the end of the year. Things they implement in their business so they can write that off. So they don't have to pay all this money at the end of the year. Do your taxes quarterly. That's one thing we don't do enough. Is you should do your taxes quarterly. Because you want to see where you're at every quarter. You know what I mean? So that's a tip I could give business owners. Do your taxes quarterly. Your tax person should be doing it not at the end of the year. Or you may have to kick out $8,000, $9,000. You just do that quarterly, break that up.
Right.
So, and then you can see where you can improve in. That's why you do your books every month. So you can see where I'm overspending, where I'm underspending. Think where my marketing at. Maybe if I increase my marketing, I can get more money. So it's levels to everything. So I tell people, it's not overnight. Steps. Take your time, day by day. Take your time. Don't rush the process. Whatever you're doing, don't rush it. As long as you're doing something every day, you're progression. Progress, not perfection, as Denzel Washington said in the movie.
Renisha, you had a question earlier.
No, I was just going to say basically he already covered what I was going to say.
Okay.
I was basically going to he hit the points, but I think we need to really, again, I keep bringing it back. Like this whole situation this year is such an eye opener that I cannot stress enough about mindset and unity, because this is like we're being put on trial right now. It is really, really rough, and a lot of people don't have an escape route. A lot of people are are starting a business, and sometimes people come out with the expectation that business is going to make $1 million in a couple months because they heard this story about this one, and not knowing the pressures. And for those listening, like, I just want you guys to know that it's hard. It hurts. You're going to cry sometimes. As much as you want to put on you want to stay, listen, even if you're crying in the shower, it's going to hurt. You're not gonna see where the end of the rainbow is coming, but whatever you do, don't give up. And I needed to be out there that it's enough work for everybody. There's millions of people in this work doing in this world doing things that we should never be a competition amongst each other because everybody has their niche.
Right.
Everybody has that one thing that they're good at. So people are gonna gravitate to you and they're gonna understand you, and like you said, there's so much in this game, like the insurance, this and that. So, we need I feel like we just, as people, we need a network with people who are really out there to see success and not just, go to somebody thinking that they can help you and then they're not schooling you on the game. They're not teaching you. They're not telling you, well, your business needs insurance. How can you have an accountant who rather do all your stuff for you at the end of the year and have you convinced that that's a better way to go instead of quarterly? Because we're out here, we're starting, and there's no book of knowledge, because you'll read one book and it says to do this, you read another book and it contradicts the first book. So, a lot of it, you do depend on a good advisor. So I would say for people out there, do your research on who you're doing business with and stuff like that to make sure that, that you're getting a bang for your money, you're getting somebody who honestly wants to see you succeed. And then don't give up. That's all I can say.
Well said. Yeah.
I think this is fitting, but on the way over to the office, I was actually listening to this one particular song on repeat. It just hit me a little bit different. And I'm not like a super religious person or anything, but it just fit. And the song was "The God in Me" by Mary Mary. Like, people look at your come up, but they really don't know the struggles that it took.
That's right.
To get there. So
that's correct.
Continue.
Everybody has a story.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Right.
So just continue to, keep it going, the little train that could, and keep your faith, whatever it is that you believe in. Always take it to God, and He will ask for clarity. He will give you that clarity that you need. It might not come right away, but once it comes, you'll definitely know that you've received your answer.
Well said. Yes. It's not going to come right then and there when you ask. It may come months later. But when it comes, you're going to be like, wow, I did that. I accomplished that. So, yeah. Well said.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I'm good.
I was having, this is also unrelated, but I was having this conversation with a friend of mine who was saying how sometimes she gets in her feelings and she gets in her own way, and she's always talking about the things that she's missed, her accomplishments, her goals that she once had, but they didn't come to fruition. And I had to let her know, be grateful for where you are right now, because you've came from somewhere.
Correct.
You're not where you want to be, but you're not where you once were. So sit in that and be thankful for that, and just keep it moving.
That's correct. That's correct. And if you was at a certain position in your life where you had and you lost, you know how to get it back.
Yep.
So just continue to build on that. That's why I have to tell people, it's like, I had such as, okay, how you got it the first time? Or I did X, Y, and Z. Okay, so do it again. What's so hard? Just do it again. Repeat the same process. What you sitting around for? Oh yeah, you're right. Nah, it ain't about right. It's just you had it before and you know the steps to do it. So just follow those same steps. That's it. Don't sit here crying and I can't. Don't do that. So you told her right. Like, just be grateful for what you got right now and keep it moving.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for your time. We do want to invite you back for another episode in the future.
No problem. I'll be glad to. Thank you.
Wonderful having you.
Yes.
So next week we are going to be talking a little bit about real estate investments. So tune back here Monday at 6 p.m. We'll see you on Monday, guys. Bye. Thank you for watching.